Grace Potter live on Austin City Limits Radio. You'll find Grace Potter tonight at ACL Live at the Moody Theater. I saw a conversation with you recently where you were talking about the talkback that
Yes.
you have in your in-ear monitors.
Secret talkback.
You can talk to the band.
Yes.
What do you have to do to activate that?
So it's a little foot switch, and the microphones hide on stage, although now everybody knows where they are because I told everybody. It first happened when I was on tour with Fish and then Dave Matthews, where, you know, if you put on a certain special pair of headphones when you're watching the show, you could hear a whole lot of other stuff, like catering was really good tonight, wasn't it? You know, or like, I just want some juice box. I need a juice box. Things like that where, you know, it's an important thing to be able to communicate production information, like my keyboard's not working, or this cable has got a crackling noise, or can I get more of so-and-so in my monitor? But really, we don't use it for that at all. We just joke around a lot.
But you do use it to change the set list as you go
Yes.
on. And I'm always interested in audience dynamics.
Yeah.
These people are all paying to see you. They know what you are, who you are, etc. All the audiences should be the same, but they're not.
No.
And some audiences want different things, and some audiences come together
Yeah.
and create different vibes, as hippie
Every
as that
single night.
sounds. What's that about? Why is that? Do you have a theory?
I think it's because people come to concerts to feel something that they get something from it. It's like when you go get a massage, or if you go, you want to, I don't know, go hiking in Tibet. You make these pilgrimages to somewhere beyond your regular life, and everybody brings in something different because everybody needs a different thing at different times in their life. And I'm very, very sensitive to it. I'm really pretty well tuned to what people want, but sometimes I don't know, and so I do turn it over to the audience quite often and just invite them to make requests. That was something that Jackson Browne taught me how to do, you know, to be gracious and invite it, but also know when to be like, okay, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do here. So it's a balance, but I really enjoy it, and all that it means is that my poor band and production crew have no idea what's going to happen ever. And it's there's a lot of chaos in their brains, but I'm always pretty sure it's the right thing to do.
The short story of this record that we won't go into is that there's a divorce, there's a new marriage, there's a child, there's a period where you're thinking about not coming back.
Yeah, I thought you said we weren't going to get into it.
No, but but you've said that one of the things you came to realize about music is that while it had given you this career, this life,
Yes.
everybody around you was getting hurt.
Yeah.
And I think when we see people, especially somebody like you, who once you put on the Flying V, I mean, this is a different Grace Potter.
Yeah,
we're
you're
seeing this
getting
morning.
acoustic grace this morning.
But is there some element of, while all that's going on around you, you're somebody else on stage? Is there an alter ego on stage?
It's not like a Sasha Fierce thing, you know. It's more. I think when I was in the band, the Nocturnals, I had this sort of superhero mentality that I could save everybody and that everything's gonna, like, I have control over how people are gonna feel, and that's the really wrong and very egotistical way to look at the world. But at the same time, you have to have a little bit of that, you know, braggadocio swagger that we see in the artists that I love and that I've always admired. And so that energy and power comes across one way, but, you know, internally and in my soul, I really care about people. I want everybody to be okay. It's not this, I'm going to fix you because you're wrong and I'm right. It's more that music seems like an important tool for communicating and sometimes saying the things that you can't say to somebody with normal, you know, everyday language. But
when we think about the swagger of what you do, I watched this morning you and the Stones, the Gimme Shelter clip.
yes, yeah.
How much do you have to put aside the fact that that's Mick Jagger, or there's, you know, or it's the Dead, or
I
it's
had
Billy
to.
Gibbons, it's whoever's standing next to you.
Yeah.
How much do you have to either decide they don't matter, they're not who I think they are right now?
Well,
What's the mind
that's an
game
interesting
there?
question. No one's ever asked me that before. I think it's probably harder for me to know. It changes per person. Like when I'm in a room with Robert Plant, I am very aware of the fact that Robert Plant is telling me stories about Led Zeppelin. And when we were learning "Give Me Shelter" backstage, talking through the choruses and what's going to happen, Mick Jagger has this beautiful dressing room setup, and I found myself really I was focused on the music. I wanted to get the song right and make sure I knew what was going on. But I also was like, oh man, I got to get I'm like this navy blue pipe and drape that he's got going. And like, the sofa's really good. I need to vibe my space better. Yeah, Mick's really got this dialed in. So I just sort of distract myself from being overcome by it. With some people, but sometimes I just jump on them and lick their face, like what I did to Iggy Pop. I actually licked him. I don't know. It happened before I had a chance to even wonder if it was an okay thing to do.
One of the ththings that you almost did, should you have quit, was gone back to house painting.
Yes.
And apparently gardening's a thing?
Yeah, I'm a terrible gardener. I killed a lot of plants, but I learned how to garden in the 4 years I took off. Because I always did like landscape architecture with my company. I had a contracting company before that paid for my first album, and my sister and I used to paint, faux, finishes to make it look like Italy, or murals for a kid's room or whatever. But I never stopped painting. It's a very big passion of mine. It's my super happy place. So.
Is it because it's the same part of the brain that writes songs, or a different part?
I think it's totally connected. In fact, when I'm writing the set list, I like to be painting or doing something with my hands, because then I can sort of not sit in front of the computer and be like, oh, this is the song list, and these are how many people requested this song on Twitter. It's like it's never going to be mathematical. But the days that I just sort of dictate the set list out loud while painting are the days when I don't really have to change anything, because I've already channeled the night into what I'm doing.
Is there some part of you, particularly with that gap between records and the thought that maybe you'd quit?
Yeah.
We had 800 and something people try to get these 40 slots in our room today.
Wow.
You're this close to sold out tonight at
Yeah.
ACL Live. Is there some part of you that's surprised, particularly how different the music industry is, that anyone still cares about Grace Potter?
Yeah, every day I can't believe it. I get very these shows since we started this tour have been really different, because it's sinking in more that people are glad that I decided to keep making music, and that it's not just something I'm doing because, oh, here she is again. Okay, putting out another record, going back out on tour. This was a real break in my life where I needed to identify what really makes me happy about being on stage, what really, really feeds my soul. Because before that, I think I was just more of like a radio antenna for everybody else. And so I've really taken ownership over the things that make me happy. And one of those things is when I walk out on stage and I can really listen to the audience. I can really feel it. It's not this thing of overpowering everyone and being this rock goddess superhero. Although there are moments in the evening that get there, it just needs to feel organic. It can't be forced, and it feels very genuine. It's a really wonderful way to experience the live show.
The kid sleeping on the couch clearly has no interest in what you're doing.
He doesn't care.
Does he have any idea what you do? And
Yes.
when it becomes time, how do you explain this?
Sagan is 2 years old, and he understands. He sees my record, and it's like another toy that he's playing. They go, "Mommy!" There's like a mommy over there, and there's a mommy right here, and there's the concept of mommy. Just like all kids now with phones, they see something that represents something that it is not necessarily all of. So he gets all of me. He and my husband get the whole picture, But I do think this record wouldn't have happened if it weren't for him. So he understands that he's a part of it. It doesn't feel like a separate thing from from the music that I'm making. And he's definitely within me. And, you know, they say having kids, it's like having your heart outside of your body walking around. And I feel that way. And I also feel that way about the music. It's like he's a walking song to me.